Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. Happy Friday. I hope everybody is doing well. I'm just checking really quick just to make sure that I'm up and running. Oh, yeah. Okay, great. Great. All right. Let me make sure my setup is good. All right. We are good to go. So, hey, everybody, for those of you who are new to this group and don't know me, my name is Janae Culpepper, and I help women remove financial shame and smash their financial goals one step at a time. And today, once a month, every week, we have Faithful Friday. So come on in the room. Today is Faithful Friday. Faithful Friday is your end of the week pick me up to build your faith in your financial journey and leave you full. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and get started because it's Faithful Friday, Faithful Friday, Faithful Friday. I always forget what key to start in, and then it just comes out. But anyways, today I'm going to be sharing 3 ways for you to be able to get your hopes up during a time of financial discouragement. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So if you're watching this live, type live in the comments. If you're watching this on the replay, type replay in the comments so that I can know that you guys are watching. Now listen, I know today we're going to be talking about 3 ways you can get your hopes up during a time of financial discouragement. Why? Because I know all about being financially discouraged. Hey, Tiffany, I see you on. I wish Facebook would really tell you who's coming in. They don't really show you who's watching anymore. Oh, hey, Lisa. How are you? Hey, Sharonda. Hey, y'all. Thanks for hopping in. All right. So I know all about being financially discouraged because 7 years ago, I was at my all-time low, right? I was sinking in debt. I had very little income and coming in, and I managed with the help of God to pay off that debt in less than 2 years. It was probably one of the most liberating portions of my life. I mean, there's been several things that have happened in my life, but it was one of the most liberating just to actually see me accomplish that goal, right? Not only that, but I've been able to get my living expenses down to $1,500 a month and even lower now. Saved so that I can go into business full time. So there were many moments of discouragement, and through that process, right? 7 years sounds like a long time, but that was in my early 20s, and so now at 31, I'm able to live a little bit more comfortably. But there are many moments of discouragement through that process, but because I was able to push through and see success, I am more than confident that I can also help other people do the same thing. Not only for myself, but I've also helped people who are financially discouraged every day and will do whatever it takes to kind of get out of that pain, to transition out of that pain, right? The pain of not being able to do what you want when you want. Nobody really talks about that, but it pains you to not be able to do the things that you want when you want. That pain of feeling like you're a slave to a lender, right? I think one of the other things that I hate more than the devil is a lender. Yeah, especially when you feel bound to them, right? That pain of feeling like, you failed in your finances, that pain of not being able to live the life you truly want, not being able to live that blessed life that we are called to. We are called to live a blessed life. So when those clients come to me, I help them to be able to get to a place financially or to see financial security and see that abundance can literally meet them at their door, and they can feel good about what they're doing and going through on their journey. So if you just hopped in, go ahead and type live in the comments so I can know that you're on, and type replay in the comments later if you catch this on the replay. But I have a question for everybody watching. Have you ever found yourself in a place of financial discouragement? If you have, put a 1 in the chat. Put it on in chat. And I also want to make a space right now. This is a safe space. In a financial healing community, we know that finances sometimes aren't easy to talk about. And so one thing I appreciate about the community that we've built is that everyone is so open, and there are, there's no judgment zone, none of that, because reality is if you're not talking about it, you're struggling with it and you just don't want to say anything about it. And so, all right. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So my next question is, if money wasn't an option, what would you have hope for? What would you hope for? Take money out the picture, say that you don't need it. What do you hope to have? What do you want? What are you hoping for? Right? And you may have to think about it for a little second, or it may just come to you quickly. You may already know. One of the things that I hoped for when I was in my time of financial discouragement was just to be able to have money free that I can do whatever I wanted to do with it. At one point, that was just all that I hoped for. I was like, I just want to have $500 to $1,000 that I don't have to put anywhere, right? You may want to put it somewhere, but I don't have to put it anywhere. That was something that I wanted to do. All right, Lisa says, I just want to be debt-free and to travel more. Absolutely. I love that. I love that. What we don't realize is that, and some people realize, but debt is, like I said, it makes you feel like a slave to a lender, right? You have to, I got to pay this every single month. It's not I want to. Which I do feel like when we pay our bills and things like that, it should be with gratitude. But we have to is sometimes it's not a good feeling. We don't want to have to do anything, right? We want to do it because we want to. So that's why I'm going to share with you guys today. And Jalicia says, live. If money wasn't an option, what would you want to hope? You want to just live. You want to just do whatever, whenever, because you can. I feel you. So 3 ways you can get your hopes up during a time of financial discouragement for those who just hopped in. That's what we're going to be talking about today. But before we start, I want you guys to make sure that you grab the financial breakthrough roadmap that I released maybe about 2 weeks ago. So I released a financial breakthrough roadmap. And in the roadmap, it basically gives you the steps to get out of debt and to stay out of debt. Right. So for those of you who have thousands of dollars in debt and you're still kind of struggling and you need kind of like a blueprint to get out and stay out, I've created a roadmap for you. So if you go to financialbreakthroughroadmap.com, I'm gonna put it on the screen for y'all. Financialbreakthroughroadmap.com, you can go ahead and grab that so you can start to kind of get those steps to get out of debt and stay out of debt. Right. It's easy to get out of debt once. It's hard to stay out of debt. So the reason why I created the roadmap is because it's simple and you can go back to the steps. And if you feel yourself getting off track, you can just get back on by following the roadmap. So go ahead and grab it and let's go ahead and get started with our steps for today. All right. So I'm going to give y'all guys a breakdown of what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to flow today because the reason that this topic came about is because it's something that I've been internally dealing with for the last few weeks or so. It's just hope in general, right? And me and my fiance, Jimmy, were talking the other day, and I was telling him about some things that I have been internally struggling with when it comes to hope. And as soon as we talked and I revealed those things to him, God spoke to me and said, this is what you need to talk to your community about. Because Faithful Friday is every first Friday of the month. And it was Monday. And God knows that I like to be like ahead of the game. But he hadn't given it to me yet. So it was just so interesting that when we had that conversation, then he told me and I was like, okay, great. I don't do anything without him leading me. So 3 ways you can get your hopes up during a time of financial discouragement. The Bible says that there are 3 things that will last forever: faith, hope, and love. And out of the greatest of these is love, right? They're all intertwined. Of course, they're all very pivotal things that we need in our walk to live in abundance, right? To follow Christ, to do things His way. But when I was thinking about hope, I had to ask myself, what do most people hope in, right? A lot of the times people put hope in things, or they put hope in God, right? They may put hope in your job. You know, it's there every day, so you know it's going to provide for you, right? You may even put hope in God, but what God showed me was that we put hope in God, because I don't have a problem putting hope in God, right? I know that He's my provider, He's my protector, He does everything for me, but I don't feel like I've been putting my complete and full hope in Him for the things that I need. I put my hope in Him, but it's like, God, do whatever you want to do. But sometimes He needs you to be specific in what you are hoping for Him to do for you, right? So if you're hoping for debt to be paid in full, if you're hoping to be able to buy that house, if you are hoping that you can be able to leave that legacy for your family, for you to be able to give more, for you to be able to live your best life, like you guys said in the comments, that was something that was a missing link. And I realized that it kind of got away from me a little bit, that I was putting my hope in Him, but I wasn't putting my hope in Him for the things that I needed. It was almost like another step. It was another level, right? Even though He knows what I need, you know, it's up to us to activate those things, to actually say and be verbal about what you are needing Him to do for you, right? So hope is something that I was discouraged from doing as a child. And even financially, it doesn't leave when you get older. So I was always told growing up, don't get your hopes up. Was anybody ever told that? Drop a 1 in the chat if you have ever heard the phrase, don't get your hopes up. Drop a 1 in the chat if anybody has ever told you, don't get your hopes up. Now, as an adult, I am like tearing that phrase down left and right. I almost got mad because I'm like, why did anyone ever tell me don't get my hopes up when it's specifically something that you need? Now, what's the difference between don't get your hopes up in people or in things, but get your hopes up in God for the things that you need? Yes, we need that, right? So the Bible also says that, yes, Lisa, yes, Sharonda, yes, put a 1 in the chat. Thank you. The Bible also says that now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen. So there's that word, hope, again. And if we were to really break down what hope means, and I'm gonna give y'all the three keys here in just a second. I'm not gonna have y'all on here all day. But hope is being confident, having a confident expectation of what God has promised us. And in the word, He promised us so many things, right? And the reason why my business is built on living an abundant life is because God says that we can have an abundant life and that we can live a life on earth as it is in heaven. That means we don't wait until we get to heaven to live a good life, a blessed life. We don't wait. It starts here, right? Hope is an optimistic attitude in your mind based on the expectation or desire that you have. It's an optimistic attitude in your mind based on an expectation or a desire that you have, right? God wants the same thing that you want for yourself, right? As long as it's within good heart and good spirit, what you want, He wants it for you. And we have to know and believe that. And hope is basically what you expect. Now, one thing I do believe is that we get what we expect. Period. Period. Big purr. Look, they got me saying this big purr. You get what you expect, right? So if you expect to be debt free, say it, believe it, expect it. Raise your expectations to know and believe that this is what the standard is for my life, right? And when you hope in God that He can do that thing for you, then He will then give you the next steps to accomplish that thing. He's going to lead you to the person that's going to help you, right? He's going to lead you to whatever that is, right? So whatever you do, don't stop hoping for the best. Don't stop hoping for the best. All right. So here's the 3 things. Finally, I already gave everything, but 3 ways that you can give your hopes up during the time of financial discouragement. Number 1 is command what you know is true. Your words have power. Then somebody can write that in the chat. Number 1 is command what you know is true. Command what you know is true. Here's why I say that. Because 1, your words have power and your feelings are liars, right? Your feelings, emotions, sometimes those things can lie to you. Whether positive or negative, your words have power. They will tell you, your words, your thoughts will tell you whatever you want to hear. But as I was studying, God told me that not only will they tell you whatever you want to hear, they will tell you whatever you want to feel. Period. Your thoughts, your feelings, they're going to tell you whatever you want to feel, right? So if in the moment, you look at your bank account, it don't look the way that you want it to look, and you are struggling internally, and you want to feel down about it. It's hard to actually acknowledge that, because sometimes when we feel a certain way, we want to turn on Mary J. Blige and just indulge in the feeling, right? So whatever you're telling yourself or whatever you're commanding, and whatever you're feeling, those things, those words, those emotions will tell you what you want to hear, and they'll tell you what you want to feel. The enemy's going to come in as soon as he has a sore spot in your mind and try to plant a seed. So command what you know is true. Pay attention to your surroundings in the time of discouragement, right? Where are you? Who are you around? What are you reading? What are you watching? What are you listening to, right? Because the enemy can come in and use all of those things as a plot twist. And so you have to come in there and command what you know is true in this moment. All right. So saying things like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I make enough to save. I don't know if I'll ever get out of this hole. I don't know breeds confusion. It breeds confusion. So instead, you have to command what you know is true. And what you know is true is by what God has done before for you, what you read in your word, because a lot of the times what we're feeling are things that aren't real, right? They haven't happened yet. So the fact that we're saying these things and they haven't even happened means that you have an opportunity to bring those things into fruition, right? So don't breed confusion with your words. Instead say, hey, this is a difficult moment, but I know that God is going to make a way for me. I know that I'm the head and not the tail. I know these are the things that God says, and I'm just waiting for them to come into motion. And God does for you every single day. It's just hard for us to sometimes actually see what he's doing. So I thought my internet gave out on me. Okay, so watch what you say. right? Your feelings, be aware of how you feel, right? Pay attention to how you feel when you're in these moments of discouragement so that you can be aware of what you are producing. Your feelings, when you feel a certain way in your heart, that stuff is going to spill out. And then you start producing things out of how you feel. So if you feel in feelings of lack, then you'll start to produce things of lack out of lack from what you say. Or if you feel something, then you go against it and you say, well, no, God says I'm the head and not the tail. He says that he's working everything out for my good. Then you start to produce abundance in your life, and God can work with that, right? He can work with that. What you also make sure that you watch. I'm sorry, let me back up. So you command what you notice, command what you know is true, what you say, what you feel, and then lastly, what you watch and what you see. So if you see debt, right? Well, a lot of times when you look at that huge number, whether it's 10,000, 100,000, doesn't matter how much it is, it's a number and you see it, right? But just because you see that big number of debt doesn't mean that you can't create a new number to see for yourself. And I do it all the time with my clients, right? They got this really big, huge number. And then once we put their debt plan together, we knock it all the way down to where it's the smallest number possible for them to pay over an amount of time. And instantly, when we put that plan together, I see their brains just shift into, I don't know how I'm going to do this, now to, oh my gosh, I can do this. Because it's just a matter of seeing something different than what you've been seeing. Okay. So just a few more things that you can actually do. That was just point one, man. A few more things that you can actually do in order to command what you know is true is writing. Your words have power. So that means writing things down is going to be super beneficial for you. And back when I was in that time of discouragement, I remember I would write down 7 lies in my brain. I wrote down 7 lies in my brain, and then I would replace it with 7 truths. And I think I did that for 7 days, if I remember correctly. It was a while ago. But every day I go back to that lie and I would write over that truth. I would write it for 7 days. And so when you write down your commandments, what you command over yourself, it's just very powerful, right? And what happens is when you write things down is you get to look back at the issue. And I've been writing for a long time. I've always loved journaling. It started off as a diary when I was little, but I've always loved journaling because I can go back, look at what I was dealing with at the time, and then I'll go back and I can see how he fixed the issue. I could see how he got me through. I can see the person that he sent me to, the resource, the company, whatever it was. I can see how the path that he took me on to be able to get me past that, right? So what I would say is if you're dealing with something and you write in your journal the issue, I'll leave a space at the bottom for like a dot, and come back when God fixed the issue and explain how. Right? Because what this is doing is disrupting the enemy's plot for everything that he's trying to come up against you with. And what you're going to find out as well is that the enemy, when he comes, he doesn't have very many different tricks. It's the same old thing over and over again, and maybe different parts of your life, right? It's the same way that he tries to get you. But what you'll realize with God is every time he fixes the issue, he has a new way of doing it. And it's just so amazing to me because everything he does is unending, and you will never be able to figure him out or how he does it. And maybe paying off debt there's a couple of different ways that you can do it, right? But what you don't see is the provision that he gives you once you start to put the action in place of paying off the debt. That's the difference. You can work with any financial professional in the country, in the world. There's just a couple of different ways to put a plan together to pay off your debt. But what's different is the person that's pouring in the principles and the mind of God, to be able to really see God sprinkle that extra over your plan. I've seen it so many times, and it just blows my mind every single time. I'll never get used to it, what he does for people once they walk in alignment and steward his principles. Okay, so that was just point one. Let me get through these points, or we're going to be on here forever. So point one was command what you know is true. Number two is create a vision board. I posted a post earlier, and I asked who had a vision board. And I believe one person actually posted their vision board, which was amazing. But I really want to encourage people to create vision boards. Vision boards are very powerful because those vision boards spark hope, right? And that's what we're talking about. They spark hopes, right? And it sparks your desires of what God has been showing you, or what God needs, or what you need God to do for you, or what God has been showing you. So somebody can write in the chat. Number two is create a vision board. A vision board is not just a piece of paper and things on it. It really is you expressing to God what those hopes of those things that you are hoping that he can help you do. So if it's get out of debt, if it's to build a 300 unit apartment complex and have 12 of them so that you can have a program for people that they can live and pay rent free. Put it on the vision board. That's actually one of my hopes that I'll be able to do. That's going on my vision board. So that's number two. Make sure you create a vision board. Number three is take active steps, even if you don't see the whole picture. Number three is take active steps. The reality is, at the level that you are right now, you only know so much, right? You only know so much, right? So do what you know how to do in this very moment. And when God shows you the person to go to, or he gives you a connect, or, take an active step to lean into that. And don't feel discouraged if you're like, well, they know so much more than I do, or that's the point, right? We don't know it all. There are people that I still have to go to get help for things, even financially, because there's steps that I've mastered, but there's still things that I have to grow in, right? So you'll never know it all. Take active steps when he gives it to you. So if right now all you know is, I know I need to not spend the $50 a week that I've been spending on Starbucks, then you take that active step, right? Then he'll show you the next step. For example, one of my clients that came to me, the first thing she said when she came to me is, she said, I didn't know what to expect, but I'm here, right? This was in the beginning where she really didn't know all of what I did with my clients one-on-one, but she felt led to just go, right? So she was being active in taking a step. And the fact that she just showed up on the call that day was that very first step of her faith being activated. And thankfully, life looks so much different for her now. So that is the 3 steps that I have for you guys. Command what you know is true. Number 2, create a vision board. Number 3, take action steps, even if you don't see the whole picture. All right. So I really appreciate you guys. I love you all so much. Make sure that you get your financial breakthrough roadmap. So you can get the blueprint if debt is one of the things that you're struggling with. I'm going to put it back on the screen. Again, financialbreakthroughroadmap.com. One thing I believe is that One reason why we stay discouraged is because we don't have a guide, right? We need steps. When I was 7 years ago, when I was in my season, I picked up a book and I read that book, and that book helped me get from point A to point B, right? It may not get you to point Z, but it helped you get to point A to point B. And honestly, you can't get point A to point Z right now because it will be just too much, and you will be discouraged and you will stop. So get the help that you need. Where is the roadmap again? So I put it on the screen. Go to www.financialbreakthroughroadmap.com. Give me 1 second. I'm going to type it in here. If I can type. So long. Okay. I put it in the chat for y'all to go ahead and grab. I'm going to stay on just for a few seconds. Does anybody have any questions? If you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat right now. I would love to answer your questions if you have any. Did you get it, Lisa? www.financialbreakthroughroadmap.com. Any questions? I'm going to stay on for just maybe 5 minutes or so if there's any questions. And while I'm waiting on questions, next week we have our monthly finance lesson that will be on next Thursday. So make sure y'all tune in for that. I'm super duper excited about it. I really enjoy coming to y'all and just giving y'all tools and things that you need on this journey, because it's not easy, but it's absolutely necessary. Absolutely. Okay, I think we're good. I don't see any questions in the chat. I wanted to stay on just to make sure I don't stop before y'all post, but I think we're good. I think we're good. Let me see. All right. I think we're good. All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in today. As always, my prayer for you is that in your pursuit to live your life, that you choose to live it abundantly. Have a great weekend. Go do something fun, and I will see y'all on Thursday. Bye.